But it's not too busy. We've got a short quality of 18 minutes and then a 50% race. And that will be followed by Blobby Mondays with Baker Plays as we head to Monza. Monza tonight for Blobby Mondays. And then back here to Portugal for DRS Extreme on Thursday at 8. So welcome in, everybody. We have an almost full grid, just one LP missing. Let's fix this before someone goes out. And then we'll get on board with whoever is going out.
The United Kingdom has achieved more World Drivers' Championships than any other country, over a quarter of which was won by Lewis Hamilton.
Not doing much of a rush to get out at the moment. There we go, that is Colin. He is going to be first out, followed by a couple of others, an Alfa Romeo, maybe both Alfa Romeos. We'll see who goes for the first hot lap. And get on board with them as usual. Do give us your predictions as well in the chat. Drop us a follow or a subscribe. All does help. Undulating would be the word to use to describe this particular circuit. Up and downhill quite a bit. Noticeably when you drive it, and even more noticeably when you're on these TV camera views, as you see there, as Colin goes to begin his hot lap. New week here in DRS. Some may not be that used to. The new edition midway through the year on the previous game. This is not on the live calendar for this year. Have a double header for you this week. It's back on Thursday. The Extreme Division. Here comes Colin to set the first lap of the session, and it's 117.8. Here comes Syme, and he beats it at 117.5. Ninja's the 118.6. Now we'll try and pick up some more Sainsbury 118.2. Levi 119.4. Miller Vanilla, original pole 117.4. Here's Brad Mason in the house. As you see, off the track to get out of his way. King Kong 118.4. With Brad and the hash for now. There's more times are going to go onto the board. There goes Sloth 118.3, Senna 120, Easy Life 118.6, Swanton 123. in sector 2. Colin from the Alfa Tauri, the Alfa Romeos, come into the pits. Here comes Brad to the line, 1:17.1, provisional pole for Brad Mason. Levi with 1:18.1, that's a bit. He's just a pickle now, he's come over the line, but he's rolled out on 21.8, so that's no good for him. It's 50 Gent. Goes 1:18.5 for P10. With Boris.
That dentist clean feeling fades the next day because my toothbrush leaves 50% of plaque behind. So I switched to the Oral-B IO electric toothbrush.
Its dentist-inspired round brush hair cleans for 100% more plaque removal.
Now I get that dentist clean feeling every single day.
Oral-B, brush like a pro.
Game on, brush off, download sound.
Ouh, j'adore.
Allez.
These are our dreams.
Found the crown of France in the gutter. I picked it up with the tip of my sword and placed it atop my own head.
Without me, you are just the root.
I'm first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Game mode for EE boosts your broadband to turbocharge your gaming. This is new EE.
There we go, apologies about that one. Hopefully that'll be a bit better for the audio. Here's Colin. Starting out of that. Currently sits in P9. He's also out on a hot lap. Purple sector 1 for Colin. Temps up at the moment is Colin. could put it up as high as 4th potentially. If he can nick a bit more in this final sector. It's very tight at the moment at the top. Colin does go 4th on 17.4 ahead of his teammate Miller. Al Newt is on the board, the 120.3. Skippy yet to set the time. Doesn't look like he's left the pits. I don't know if he's got a quali ban. So who shall we go? Let's go and see Syme. He's a 10th up on his time. Again, that 10th could rocket him right the way up into the top 4 potentially. Syme crosses the line and indeed does go 4th. Another 117.4. 4th all the way down to 8th in the 117.4s. Al Newt went 10th for 117.7 there. Smart is down on his time. Let's see how Forrest is doing. He's slightly down on his time. And invalidates. This is Sana. He's second down, so we'll leave him. Let's go back to Brad. Pole sitter and improving on his time through sector 1. And even more so in sector 2, he can break the 117 mark here and be the first one to do so. Really good lap this for Brad Mason. He's going to improve his provisional pole time here. And he does indeed, the 116.8. Thanks Bazza. Be much better on my channel. And hello Eds. Hello Eds, good to have you in. And clean driving from Robbie. Well, at the moment, just on comms for this stream, and then later on in Monza. Sure, there'll be lots of action, lots of safety cars, and I'll try not to get any more penalty points. Yeah, having a happy Monday, and Ben Lane is out. I think he's just retired in the pit lane, so he's going no higher than 9th. Still 5 minutes left in the session. Smug is up to 7th. He's in amongst that cluster of 117.4s. Jonathan wants me to crash everyone except him. Trying to avoid getting any more penalty points. Smug has invalidated this attempt. So let's go see that Easy Life is also down, so let's go see Skippy. This is Skippy coming up to set his time. That's a 120.4, which at the moment leaves him in last place. A brief respite, then nobody out for a hot lap. We'll keep an eye on Skippy. There's literally nobody else out on track at the moment doing hot laps. Skippy up and over the ridge and improves, but still last. Good evening, Baker, in the chat. Just having a little chat about Monza and the potential for people to crash. Just hoping for no more penalty points. A clean run. Swanton back out on a hot lap then. Can he now get after Brad? Should definitely be an interesting one later on. We've got about 30 odd laps of Portugal to do first. Plus we're now entering the last couple of minutes of this qualifying session. Most cars now out on the track. First DNF for Baker would absolutely help the Red Bull cause, so I'm all for that. I think my personal title aspirations are falling by the wayside, but looking good for the constructors. Always helps when you've got a Flying Dutchman in your side. So Swanton's not going to improve on this lap, but he is going to have time for another go. Here's Mr. Pickle. He's slightly down on his time, but only slightly, so we'll stay with him. In fact, now he's up. So we're in the final minute then. Up and over the hill goes Mr. Pickle and improves to P2. 117.1. As the checkered flag flies shortly, we'll try to bring you everybody as they cross the line. The checkered flag out. We've got so many yellow flags in the way that we're not actually sure. We do not need Noodles to DNF. Noodles needs to get points to carry me to the Constructors' Championship. Okay then, so the next one over the line as the checkered flag is out will be King Kong. Then a Red Bull. So we'll try to do this like this. King Kong goes second. Smug next. Goes second. Miller Vanilla went sixth. The Ferrari next, Levi, did not improve. Is that Syme next? It is. Here comes Syme. At 1:16.9 he goes second. Brad improves again. 1:16.6. Ninjas comes across the line. 50's across the line. Who else have we got? Sloth doesn't improve. Mr. Pickle doesn't improve. Just Swanton and Boris left. Swanton has invalidated. Boris is miles down and has invalidated. So that is your lot. That is it for qualifying, and Brad Mason takes pole for Haas. Ahead of Syme in second. for Alfa Romeo. Smug in the Red Bull is third from King Kong's Aston Martin in fourth. And I'll take you through the rest in a minute when it comes back up. Mr. Pickle there in 5th place for Ferrari, followed by Swanton's Mercedes in 6th. Then it's the AlphaTauris of Miller Vanilla and Colin, 7 and 8. Sloth in 9th, and Ben Lane makes up the top 10. Then it's Levi, Al Newt, Sainsy, Boris Johnson, Ninjas, Senna, Easy Life, 50 Gen, and Skippy. We'll go through all the tyre choices on the formation lap. Baker saying Super Millwall there in the chat. Certainly a good start for Joe Edwards last week at the weekend in Sheffield. 4-0 away victory. I can't actually remember the last time we won by 4 goals away from home. So yeah, very enjoyable. Not getting carried away though, because Wednesday were pretty awful. Anyway, if you're watching on the DRS channel, you will see some of the standings. And if you're watching on mine, you will just have to wait for me to find them for a minute. And I will tell you about them. So here we are with the drivers' standings. Syme top with 100 points in the Pro. From Swanton, 8 points behind. And then a massive gap to Sloth and Smug. And it's Joker and Mr. Pickle. Joker not here today. The chance for Mr. Pickle and Colin and Ben Lane to all potentially catch up, as well as Brad as well. We then have the Pro-Ams, which Miller Vanilla is leading by a massive margin. Ronnie is in 2nd and not here today, given an opportunity for 50 Gent, Easy Life and Skippy, as well as Levi, all to practice to catch up a bit. Our Newt, Sainsy, Ninjas and Senna. The team standings. Constructors sees AlphaTauri top the table, 158 points. From Alfa Romeo, 21 points back. Then it's Mercedes, Red Bull and Alpine all clustered together. McLaren, Haas and Williams all clustered together. Ferrari and Aston Martin at the rear of the field there. So that's bang up to date. And we await the formation lap, where the drivers just get an opportunity to do their strategies and fuel loads before the start. Much better when nobody readies up early, as we often see on our races. You might hear me moan about that. And we are still sticking with no formation lap in Blobby and Bakers, because we had a glitch one week that ruined it a bit. Get your predictions then in the chat for your race winner, for who's going to be the one to watch. And hopefully not too many incidents for the stewards later on. Weather in game looking quite good. Doesn't look like a danger of any rain. Here we are then. And away they go on the formation lap. And a difference of opinion on the front row. The entire field has picked medium tyres to start, except the leader, Brad Mason. And Sainsey has gone for hard tyres in 13th, but Brad has gone for softs. Everybody else, 17 drivers, have decided that mediums are what to start on here. 33 laps around this circuit. Baker is cheering on the Alpine. There's only one Alpine today. So Ben Lane in 10th is your man. As Ronnie didn't make it in this week. Ben has had some success before though in DRS. So could be a lively shout from the middle of the pack. Simulcast is just a little bit behind. In terms of a time delay. I hope that doesn't ruin anybody's viewing, of course. As the last couple, 50 Gent and Skippy come in to park. Ninjas and Skippy disqualified for their parking attempts. And here we go. We're going to see the lights. We are. 5 lights. And away we go. And let's have a look, see how well Brad got away. Not very well. Simon's going to be up his inside. And Brad just manages to keep the lead ahead of Sime. Miller Vanilla's dropped down a few places. Smug's also dropped a few here. Two by two into this corner. Little bit of a bang of wheels between Colin and Smug. Ben Lane, the Alpine, as Baker was saying, up to 7th from 10th. So a good start for the Alpine. Colin, after a bit of wheel banging with Smug, is now down to P8. And Ben almost going for Smug, and Colin's going to go up the inside of him. Good midfield scrapping early doors here. Colin back up to 7th. Ben's now got the attentions of Boris Johnson. But he tries to go back up the inside of Colin and a bit more wheel banging. bit more wheel banging, and Ninjas has picked up a penalty on the first lap, and Ben has now dropped back to 9th behind Boris. Good evening to Adkins in the chat. Another one joining us in Monza later on. Williams is scrapping away as well. Sainsy throwing it up the inside of Senna. Some good battles developing all over the track at the moment. Now they've settled into the order. Let's go through it. Brad Mason leads from Simon second. Mr. Pickle is third. Swanton up to fourth. King Kong is fifth from Smug in sixth. Colin is seventh from Boris Johnson in eighth. Ben Lane 9 and Miller Vanilla makes up the top 10. Then it's the Williams pair of Al Newt and Sloth. Senna's 13th from Sainsbury. Then it's 50 Gent. Symes sets the fastest lap of the race as he tries to get off away. As he tries to get after Brad. And he is closing. Levi down in 17th from Skippy in 18th, and Ninjas is at the back of the field. Simon with a bit of DRS now. Mr. Pickle also. Brad not managing to get away as he would have hoped on the soft tyres. King Kong pursuing Swanton, who's dropped away from the front three a little. Let's go to Syme. Can he get something down the straight? He can. And up the inside goes Syme, and into the lead goes Syme. King Kong passes Swanton. Colin passes Smug. Ben Lane and Miller Vanilla pass Boris. Boris is fighting it back, and Miller Vanilla loses out there. And one of the Williamses has gone past. That's Al Newt. The other one's right in there as well. Swanton repasses King Kong. And Brad Mason retakes the lead. Or does he? Syme is going to fight it. They're side by side. And Syme got the inside and pushed wide was Brad. And that could bring Mr. Pickle into play. Mr. Pickle trying to go around the outside, which becomes the inside, and Mr. Pickle is up into second place. Ninjas picks up another time penalty. Miller Vanilla's gone off. Miller Vanilla's off, and has dropped right back to 18th place. Ninjas pitted and has got 2 time penalties already. Brad has lost a couple of places and is now third. And Brad's in the pits. It must have caused damage for Brad. Mr. Pickle now chasing Syme for the lead. Miller Vanilla, the Prime Championship leader, going off and down in 17th place now. And Senna picks the time penalty up. Brad exits the pits down in 18th place. It's an early pit stop for him, and he's on the mediums, which probably won't last to the end. So that's going to ruin his race. The pole sitter. Sainsbury losing a couple of places there. In fact, 3 for the price of 1. Not lighting those hard tyres up. Al Newt is the latest to pick up a penalty. Swanton seems to be holding up a bit of a queue now. King Kong, Colin and Smug. Ben's up to 7th from Boris, and the Williamses of Sloth and Al Newt both in the top 10 now. Levi going side by side with 50 Gent here down the straight. Should be a routine pass for the Ferrari with DRS, and is. Senna's into the pits. Skippy picks a time penalty up as he scraps with Sainsy, and he's well off, is Skippy. Skippy running well off the track there as he was scrapping with Sainsy, just outbraked himself. We're going to go up to Colin, who's right in behind King Kong, and Smug not far behind as well. Simon's now gapped Mr. Pickle by a second, who has gapped Swanton by a second. Then it's this battle behind Swanton of King Kong, Colin and Smug. And I get back to Ben Lane, who's got Boris Johnson for company, and Sloth a bit further back with his teammate Al Newt just in behind. So just everybody a bit settled down now. Brad sets the fastest lap of the race, and Boris goes up the inside of Ben. And that is P7 for Boris Johnson. Well, we had a little bit of a wobble on exit. King Kong and Colin side by side. Colin going the long way round and making it stick. Colin up to 4th, ahead of King Kong now. Mr. Pickle will close a bit with DRS, but should be too far back for a move this time. Swanton catching up a bit now and getting away from this battle in behind him. Mr. Pickle picks up a time penalty. Easy Life's in the pits. Levi up into the top 10, passing Al Newt. Brad sets the fastest lap of the race once again. He's climbed to 16th as Easy Life pit. Al Newt picks up another penalty. Mr. Pickle closing in for the lead, but has picked up a penalty already. Such is the importance of keeping it clean. That could cost him. So Mr. Pickle trying to get to Syme. Lap 8 of 33. It's whizzed by this race so far, with no safety cars as yet. Everyone's still running. Here comes Syme. Here comes Mr. Pickle on Syme, I apologise. And up the inside he goes, and into the lead goes Mr. Pickle. King Kong, Colin, Smug, all still scrapping. 50 Gent passes Al Newt, but that's because Al Newt's in the pits. And Smug picks up a time penalty. Just as we see him trying to get involved with this battle with Colin and King Kong. Here he goes now, Smug, for a move almost. Just had to dive out of it there. Our Newt rejoins in 18th place, ahead of Senna, who's down in last now. Might be trying the old long stint on hards for the end of the race. Mr. Pickle leads them from Syme, who's now been caught by Swanton. And a gap back to Colin, and this battle between King Kong and Smug. Smug had a decent exit there. He's got DRS, but so obviously has King Kong. Syme retakes the lead of the race. And Smug is going to take King Kong for 5th place. So up to 5th goes Smug from King Kong. Boris and Ben now catching these as they scrap, as you can see him behind. Swanton right in amongst it again with the leaders. Lap 10 of 33. Syme the leader. Mr. Pickle in 2nd. Swanton 3rd. Then Colin, Smug, King Kong, Boris, and somebody has gone off further back. Only going to be a minor because that's cleared up already. Swanton could have a go at Mr. Pickle here. Both with DRS. Swanton now right in amongst the battle for the lead. Syme, of course, the championship leader. Brad passes his teammate up to 13th place on his recovery drive. When do we think we see the medium runners look to pit? Swanton, a fantastic record of finishing races. I believe it was nearly 70 races in a row that he finished before that DNF, that epic DNF we saw at Jeddah between himself and Ben. Up the inside goes Swanton. And he's got it done way before the corner. Swanton is up to 2nd. Let's look at Smug in behind as he goes past Colin. Used a bit too much curb there though, and Colin's going to say thank you very much and retake that place. Or is he? They're both going side by side here, and Colin does defend it well. Smug just mistimed that slightly. Sloth has passed Levi, and he's up to 9th. Skippy is in the pits. Brad's almost back up to the points. He's 12th. But, of course, he's still got to pit again. Skippy will rejoin down in 18th. Senna picks up a time penalty. He's currently last. Just over a third of the race distance now. And Swanton could be looking for a go at the lead here. DRS very powerful down this straight. Pulls to the inside. Syme's going to not leave him much room. And Swanson and Syme go through that section together. And Syme does manage to just stay in front. But more DRS now for Swanson. Is he going to look for a dive up the inside? No, he is not. And Mr. Pickle looks on. A similar battle with Colin holding up Smug and King Kong. About 3 seconds behind this battle for the front three. Al Newt, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be his second stop as well. So not a good time so far for Al Newt. And Easy Life also in the pits. So Syme then from Swanton. Here comes Swanton for another go at the lead. Mr. Pickle might get involved as well here with a bit of DRS. Swanton up the inside, and this time has it done before the corner. Swanton takes the lead of the race. Syme in second from Mr. Pickle. Brad is up to 11th now, ahead of 50 Gent. All 19 who started are still running. And all on the same lap as well, just about. No, in fact, they're not, because Easy Life has now been lapped. The next one in front of Swanton to lap will be Al Newt. Just saw him there in the foreground. Boris and Ben trying desperately to get up to this battle. That's got Smug at the front of it. Swanton seems to have enough of a gap this lap to avoid any problems from DRS in behind him. Colin closely following Smug. Then King Kong. Boris and Ben. Pro-Am wise, I think Levi is the current leader. He is in 10th place overall. So all very close without making any impacts on each other at the moment. Here's Mr. Pickle, but again in the DRS train. Is Syme going to get close enough? He looks to the outside of Swanton. And nothing doing that time. Mr. Pickle's right in there. Sloth into the pit lane. And 50 Gent into the pit lane. While Brad passes Levi. So that's P9 now for Brad. It's around that time that we're expecting the medium runners to start pitting. And indeed Sloth, 50 and Miller all have done so. And onto hard tyres for the rest of the race. What will the leaders do? Will it be an undercut or an overcut? We're soon to find out. Swanton leads, Simon second, Mr. Pickle third, Smug in fourth, Colin in fifth, King Kong 6, Boris 7 and Ben Lane 8, all yet to box. And into the pits comes Mr. Pickle. Mr. Pickle is in. He's the only one. Mr. Pickle and Levi also pitting, so the Ferraris managing a double stack. Brad passes both. Mr. Pickle will rejoin in 9th place, will he? Yes, just in 9th place. Have to cover off Sainsy. And a yellow in sector 2. Who's that going slowly? That's Al Newt. Al Newt going slowly. Levi coming out of the pits in 12th place, behind Sloth and Sainsy. Swanson then leads by over a second now to Syme. Who's pitting this lap? Neither of the front two, nor Smug, nor Colin, who's going to go past Smug here. And Colin up into 3rd place. Ben Lane pits. Brad Mason's been disconnected. Brad's been disconnected. I don't think he's on my friends list. I will have a little look for him. Indeed he isn't. So nothing I can do with that, unfortunately. Smug managed to get back past Colin for P3. Ben rejoined in 10th place. Into the pits comes Syme. The next 3 continue on, as does Boris. Could anybody be trying to risk mediums to softs here? Syme indeed is. Syme is going softs to the end. Brad Mason into the pits for a second time, but I think he is in ghost mode. You see, he lost 9 seconds just on that lap. Into the pits also comes Sainsy. Syme has come out right next to Mr. Pickle. Can he use the extra grip? He can indeed, round the outside. Great move by Syme, up into 6th place. A yellow in sector 1 is a Haas going slowly, and that could be Brad Mason coming out of the pits. It's all gone wrong for the pole sitter. Now out of the session and losing valuable places. The front 5 still yet to box. Into the pits comes Smug. Colin picks up a time penalty in the pit lane. Whereas Syme and Mr. Pickle going to rejoin in relation to Smug and Colin then. Let's see. They are both going through. They're both going through. Is Ben going to get through as well? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Smug comes out. Ben undercut. Ben cuts back underneath him. Brilliant move by Ben. And he goes into 7th place ahead of Smug. Colin and Smug both going soft tyres to the end. Into the pits comes Ninjas. Smug going up the inside of Ben. Great battle. Great battle after exiting the pits there, Smug. Trying to warm them tyres up quick. So still, the front three do not pit now. Into the pits comes Swanton. Skippy picks up a time penalty. Into the pits comes King Kong and Boris. So is Syme now going to take the lead?
In comparison, a typical road car won't exceed...
Syme and Mr. Pickle. Syme sets the fastest lap of the race. And he is going to take the lead. Mr. Pickle will go up to 2nd. Swanton rejoins in 3rd. Colin and Smug are ahead of... And Ben are ahead of King Kong and Boris. So the undercut working well there. But now what advantage will the soft runners have over the hard runners? Mr. Pickle, Ben Lane, Sloth and Levi going on the hards. The rest of the top 10 on the softs. $50 Gent and Miller Vanilla currently catching Skippy. Important battles in the context of the Pro-Am. Senna's in the pits once again. All 19 still going. On lap 21 of 33. And Senna coming out the pits in last place. I think everybody might be on the same lap again, which is handy. Smug sets the fastest lap of the race. Boris picks up a time penalty there. Into the pits comes Skippy, and that's going to release Miller and 50, who are fighting at the same time. Miller Vanilla up to P11. More importantly though, in terms of the Pro-Am, he is now 2nd behind Levi. Swanson closing in on Mr. Pickle. Can Swanson get to Mr. Pickle here? It looks like he can. Got up his inside on the last corner. You don't often see a move there. And up into 2nd place goes Swanson then. 6th place for Ben Lane. He's past King Kong. And Boris going for a dive up the inside of King Kong. Forces him wide and takes the position. So Ben and Boris passing King Kong there. All 19 still on track. No safety cars. Don't think I've ever done a race in DRS without any safety cars at all. Boris is up to 6th ahead of Ben Lane now. And a bit of a wobble for Ben. Ben had a bit of a wobble there. But managed to correct it before losing the place to King Kong. Sainsy picks up a time penalty. We will put those up shortly. Have a look through them, because they are going to be crucial in deciding certain things about this race. Smug still stuck to the back of Colin. We'll be hoping that Colin doesn't get any DRS, which I don't think he did. And up his inside goes Smug for P4. King Kong passes Ben Lane. And that's P7 for King Kong ahead of Ben Lane. Smug now trying to catch Mr. Pickle. They've both got penalties. Levi is catching Sloth. Meanwhile, Miller can make no impression on that 6-second gap. And past goes Levi into P9 ahead of Sloth. We will have a look at the penalties then. And it's 11 seconds for our Newt. 6 for Skippy, Ninjas and Senna. Make that 9 for Ninjas. And into third place goes Smug. Smug with 3, Mr. Pickle with 3, Boris with 3, Colin with 5 in that little group there. Sainsy also has 3. So Colin could be the one to lose out there, but Boris is away behind him. And Colin now is attacking Mr. Pickle. Syme, Swanton, Smug, the front 3. This is Mr. Pickle trying to fend off Colin. Fifty Gent passes, Sainsy passes 50 Gent, sorry. Well over halfway now, lap 25 of 33. Starting lap 26. Colin's going to make the move on Mr. Pickle. And up to 4th place goes Colin. The tyre selection hurting Mr. Pickle. Miller Vanilla picks up a time penalty. That's going to cost him as he tries to reel in Levi. Sainsy in behind him also has a penalty. Into the pits again comes Brad Mason. He's either calling it a day or going on to the mediums, to the softs for an attempt at fastest lap. And he's come back out on used softs and goes to last place. So not too many close battles happening out on track at the moment. The nearest we have is Sloth trying to get back to Levi. And as you can see, Sloth's going to make the move. Up the inside goes the Williams, nice as pie. Back up to P9 goes the Sloth. Easy life for the latest to pick up a penalty. As you can see, most drivers now have a penalty. Swanson has not given up on this win. He is now closing the gap to Syme and has DRS. The final 5 or 6 laps and we still could have a race on for the win here. Swanson closing in on Syme, getting the DRS assistance. Syme also getting it this time as he comes.
That dentist clean feeling fades the next day because my toothbrush leaves 50% of plaque behind. So I switched to the Oral-B IO electric toothbrush.
Its dentist-inspired round brush head cleans for 100% more plaque removal.
Now I get that dentist clean feeling every single day.
Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
It's about staying nimble and focused, ready to take on any challenge. We got this.
Stylish outside, savage inside. Lenovo Legion.
Give me fashion, fun, drama. Yeah, the eyes. Yeah, give me the eyes. Give me, yes. The mouth. Close the mouth. Close the mouth. I need you. No, give me more. Don't be shy.
These are our dreams.
Those in power only see me as a brute, unfit for higher office.
I believe I speak for all of us. We will all sleep again without this vermin.
Shh. Whose country are we in? Mine.
Game mode from EE boosts your broadband to turbocharge your gaming. This is new EE.
I face a lot of assumptions being autistic, and I think you're aware of a lot of them. A big one for me is people assuming just because of my personality and the way that I come across that I don't require support needs. Because when I finally get up the confidence to, talk to people about my support needs and ask for adjustments because of the preconceived notions and assumptions that people may have, and they assume that, maybe I don't need these things and they're only little changes, but to me they can make such a drastic difference.
Is Miller going to be able to catch Sloth and Levi, who keep battling and keep swapping places? It's very entertaining for me. Sloth now getting close up to Levi. Boris getting close to Mr. Pickle. Getting very close to Mr. Pickle. Swanson now gap Syme by over a second, so should be on for the win. Mr. Pickle defending for his life here against Boris. Three laps to go. And there it is, Boris Johnson up into 5th place. Miller now within a second, almost within a second and a half of Sloth and Levi in front of him. Could the Pro-Am win be up for grabs? And a yellow in sector 1 is a slow moving Williams. I think that's Al Newt at the back. We're very close to having an entire DRS race with all 19 finishers and no safety cars whatsoever. Syme's still fighting, still trying to get back in that DRS range. As we go to begin the penultimate lap. Syme will have DRS, but he's too far back for a lunge. Sloth has passed Levi. Miller needs to close that 1.8 seconds down. Of course, he has a penalty as well, so perhaps it's not going to happen for him. Boris hasn't given up yet on climbing further as he's chasing Colin now. But we've got to stay with the leaders. Syme is doing all he can. Levi passes Sloth again. They're having a great battle. So what's going to happen then as we come round to begin the final lap shortly? Swanton from Syme. Smug's comfortable in third. Colin's not very comfortable. He's got Boris for company to try and take his fourth place. Mr. Pickle is sixth. King Kong 7. Ben Lane 8th. Levi and Sloth having a massive battle for 9th and 10th. Miller Vanilla trying to crash it. There you see the view from Syme's car. Boris is getting close to Colin. For some reason I went to Mr. Pickle behind them. Boris didn't get it done either. Miller's within a second now of Levi and Sloth. Al Newt at the back sets the fastest lap of the race. Fantastic stuff. Sloth's going to go for Levi again, round the outside. Nice move by Sloth. Senna picks up a penalty. This is Levi trying to fight back Sloth, but look who's there now. It's Miller Vanilla. We go to the leaders. As they come into Sector 3, I think Syme is not going to have a chance now. Swanton comes round the looping final bend. And Swanton wins in Portugal. Syme comes across in second. It's going to be Smug third. Colin will come across in fourth place, but lose that on a time penalty to Boris. Mr. Pickle will come home in sixth. Then it's King Kong. Ben Lane will be in eighth place. Sloth is going to lead home Levi and Miller. Sloth comes home in 9th, Levi in 10th, and Levi wins the Pro-Am race. Miller Vanilla finishes in 11th and 2nd of the Pro-Am, and Sainsey takes the final podium place in the Pro-Ams in 12th. 50 Gent finishes in 13th. Then it'll be Skippy 14th, Ninjas 15th, and Senna 16th, with Easy Life, Brad Mason, and Al Newt all a lap down. We await Ninjas. There goes Ninjas. And there goes Senna. And that is that. So it is Swanton who takes the win for Mercedes. A great battle. Boris Johnson, the driver of the day, according to the game. Take you through the full order before we go. as we see Swanton take the podium from Syme and Smug. 3 men behind this league. So always good to see the guys running it winning, as I hope happens later, more for me than for Baker. Swanton the winner. Syme in second, Smug third, Boris fourth from 14th on the grid, hence the driver of the day. Jumped Colin on a penalty, Colin finishing in 5th place. Mr. Pickles Ferrari was 6th. King Kong was 7th for Aston Martin. Ben Lane in the Soul Alpine was 8th. From Sloth in the Williams in 9th. Levi then, your Pro-Am winner, in 10th, ahead of Miller Vanilla in 11th. And Sainsey in 12th. 50 Gent was 13th. Skippy 14th. Ninjas 15th. Senna 16th. Easy Life 17th. Brad Mason, bit of a nightmare for him, was 18th. And Al Newt finished last, but did get the fastest lap. So that brings us to the end of the DRS Monday in Portugal. Blobby and Baker's Monday nights begins at 10 p.m, where we've now filled all the seats. There are a couple of absentees weekly, but we've now got no more vacant seats. So join us at 10 o'clock for that, where you'll see me driving around Monza and swearing and getting the hump. And then back here in Portugal, Thursday at 8 p.m, Dynamic Racing League UK and Blobby_Butler. We're live on F1 23 for DRS Extreme. I will see you soon.